fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no, you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away. As you fade away. Try to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray.
What's going on? How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining the stream. I don't know quite how long this is gonna last, but thanks for joining the stream. I don't know, but we will check it out. I just wanted to kind of see what was going on, just make sure some things were set up for this, and yeah, so that way we can do some stuff moving forward. But I just gotta kind of work out some bugs here. All right. Can you guys hear? Can you hear me all right? Just checking it out. Hey. How's the music? Is the music too loud? I don't want real loud music, but it's kind of finicky. All right, awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me, you guys, and check this out here. So, yeah, all I'm going to do here is I'm just trying to prepare a little bit for the next tutorial series, which, if you don't know, is I'm just going to do a inventory system. Nothing too spectacular. I'd like to, some of you might know that are in my Discord. I just want to maybe build a game, let the community kind of help direct me, and we can just kind of build a game together. But in the interim, we're just going to do an inventory system and kind of get it started up here. So the VOD will be back on my channel. So if you want to catch us later, if you can't catch a whole stream, then you can always go back and check it out a little bit later. All right, what's going on, Noobifier? You hear no music? Yeah, okay, cool. It's low. It's a little bit loud in my headphones, but I guess I could just turn my headphones down. All right, so, well, just starting out here. I'm not going to get into too much explanation here. I'll just talk to you guys and just kind of, go around here and get some things programmed over. This ultimately, what this is going to be here, this is for anybody who's followed my channel. I've talked about it in the RTS series. What I usually do with my tutorials is I have what I call a lead project that I just kind of use as my template to then re-record and redo everything that I do. My lead project is a little bit ahead of what you guys see on YouTube. It just kind of helps me keep things in order and stay organized and all that stuff. So that's ultimately what this is. I've written an inventory system probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 times already. I already got a few projects of it, and every time I go back and redo it, I think there's a new way to do stuff. And if you see my last video about the with the object classes, that's what I'm going to do here with this one, I think, and just kind of make some object classes, make it a little bit easier. I think the last way I wrote it was using the struct system, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. So all right, so yeah, so this is just a default, this really doesn't matter, just a blank project here. I've already migrated over. What you guys will see in my next video, which will be out, it'll be public on Sunday night, Monday morning, right around that time, and about 48 hours from now, actually, it should be live. So you can check that out. But I've just migrated over some character blueprint and player controller. Nothing too major here. Open this up here and show you guys. All I've really done, and like I said, you'll see in the next one, is I've just brought over some basic stuff, moved everything from the default over into a player controller, so just makes it a little bit easier when starting new projects. All I gotta do is set some things up here, create a game mode, and then I'll start doing the fun stuff. But this is all just pretty much set up. Like I said, I'm just here just trying to work out some kinks. So how you guys doing tonight? Just chilling, yeah. Curious, it's 1 o'clock in the morning for me. Actually, I guess it's about 1:30 in the morning for me. What your guys' time zones at? What time is it where you're at? p.m., 3:30 a.m. Right on, so that's good to know. Nice. Resident Evil, is that any good so far, Noobifire? Am I saying that right, Noobifire? That's how I usually say it when I'm reading your name at Discord. Nub. That's funny. I actually played a game on the phone, Final Fantasy, and he had the nickname Nub, and it just N-U-B, and I pronounce it Nub, and he was like, no, actually, I meant it to be the hard U, Noob. So, all right, let's see here. As a matter of fact, probably should have set up this controller before I went live, or these key bindings before I went live, but oh well. What can you do? And this would be W. Oops. I'm using, was it XSplit? I tried years ago, back when I was, at the beginning of the channel, I was using OBS and going that route, but back then OBS really wasn't that good. I ended up buying XSplit, which is pretty good. They've changed up a little bit, and they don't have quite all the bells and whistles. There's so many plugins and stuff you can get for OBS, but XSplit's a little bit more user-friendly. It's professional. It feels a little bit more professional anyways, but OBS has come a long way. But yeah, XSplit is what I use. Did I spell that right? Why is this not working here? Yeah, it's not bad. It cost me a few dollars, but it's a perpetual license. That was one of the reasons why I went for it. I really don't like software these days. Everybody wants to go to the subscription model, and I'm not a huge fan of that. It's but I guess it continues development. But Adobe, they just went off the deep rails with the cost of their software and subscription model, and but things like Substance, isn't too bad. At least, you know, you can you buy like a year subscription and you get the updates with it, but beyond that you still get to use the software, you just don't get any more updates. So something like that, Substance 3D and all that, Substance Painter, that's kind of worth it. But I still use an old version of Substance Painter, but I'll probably end up re-upping that. Why isn't that? Let's see. Just trying to do these access, and these are the default controls, but I'll just have to adjust it. Move. Actually, I bet you there's a space in there. Move right and left. No. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much the way everybody's going these days, is all just subscriptions. So what can you do? You know, it's everybody wants to get that continuous money. Can't say I blame them, but you know, I say it's, I talk about it being bad, but you know, I just signed up for Patreon, so what can you do? Can't beat them, you join them, I guess. All right, let's go. Forward. Yeah, I really should have did this beforehand, but it was getting late. I just wanted to test this out and check out the live stream. But so sorry if this is a little bit boring, guys. So I'm going to get into a little bit deeper stuff right off the bat, but you know how it goes. Yeah, Patreon's not too bad. Patreon, like almost everybody though, they've gotten really kind of greedy. They actually take quite a bit from creators, and that's why I also signed up for the Buy Me a Coffee. It's the same premise. Everybody understands Patreon. Buy Me a Coffee is still relatively new, but it's kind of the same thing over there, but they actually give a whole lot more back to the creators, at least initially up front. You know, I haven't actually seen anything yet, but from what I can read off the websites and stuff, there's a big discrepancy between the two, so we'll see how it goes. I'm just happy to get any sort of support, so I don't expect really anything. Yeah, microtransaction. Yeah, those are horrible. But that's the model for every game now, right? Is the microtransactions. You know, you could play our game for free, but we're gonna charge you to, you know, win. We're gonna charge you for all the extra bells and whistles. Yeah, you can set it up the same way over there, over at Buy Me a Coffee. It's pretty much the same thing. They, from what I can tell on their website, Buy Me a Coffee, I don't want to go too far in the weeds with this, but Buy Me a Coffee gives their creators 95%, whereas in Patreon, after the many different fees that they charge you, they take usually about a minimum of about 27% from you, and even more if it's foreign money that they gotta, you know, that they've got to cash for you. Free to play, yeah. Final Fantasy 14. I played that on the game for a long time. Johnson, it was I think it was the Final Fantasy 14 on my iPhone. Played that for a long time. Yeah, Nubifier. It's the same thing. Yeah, really the only different. Well, there is no difference really. I was able to set it up to where, because Patreon automatically gives you the Discord level in there, and that's really the only thing it gives, you know, other than me sending out the posts with links and updates and stuff like that to the patrons. But yeah, no, it's the same thing. And even if it messes up somehow, I can always add ranks and because I see everything, you know. But yeah, it should be the same thing. That'd be cool. You know, like I say, I really, it's whatever anybody's comfortable with. You know, it's. I mean, really, more should go back to the creator. That's kind of the thing with Twitch lately. I haven't done anything on Twitch for a while, but everybody I watch that does any live streaming off of Twitch says Twitch is really kind of going after creators and taking more away from them. And so the new platform, a lot of them are considering switching to YouTube. But, you know, at some point, YouTube's going to be the same thing, right? All corporate companies get a little bit greedy. So, you know, whatever is comfortable for, you know, the viewer is really the way to go. Just like when you go to the store, they accept, you know, yeah, Twitch is taking a lot, Johnson. But you know, it's like when you go to the store, you know, you can pay cash, you can pay Visa, MasterCard, whatever, right? You got to provide the options, you got to provide the different ways, and it's, you know, each one has their own benefit, but it's whatever's more comfortable. You know, some people are just, you know, more comfortable using a different method of payment or support or anything like that. You know, people who watch live streams on Twitch probably aren't going to watch that many on YouTube, and vice versa. It's just, you know, we get comfortable in what we do. Gravity payment, I haven't seen that one. Airbnb, yeah, now for super low rates. Is it tacked on? Oh yeah, of course. They, you know, it's like a bad drug, right? You give it out for free, get them hooked on it, and then you charge more because then they can't do without it, right? You get them hooked into your platform. How big or small, cost 25 cents on Gravity, Johnson. Let's see. Watch Twitch, never watch any live streamers on TV. Well, besides this just now. Well, and thanks for coming over, Crypto. Yeah, you know, and I've got my account on Twitch. I just wanted to kind of see, and I may go and try a live stream over on Twitch, and you know, I'm not committed to either platform really. It's just you know, something we'll have to see how it goes, but that's cool. I have to check that out, Johnson. See what they're all about. Is it kind of like Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee, where you can set up tiers and give rewards out to your supporters, or is it just, you know, like a PayPal.me kind of thing where you just donate? That's it. Oh, okay. All right. So it's just a pure payment processor then. I gotcha. got left here? I'm going to disconnect these for now. I just want to see if I've got these axes hooked up properly. Oh, I guess I got to create a game mode first. Multi-platform streaming, really easy. Yeah, there's a lot of plugins and stuff like that. I think there's a plugin for XSplit that I can add that will allow me to multi-broadcast to different platforms. But the problem with that is, you know, it's hard to keep track of everything because not each system kind of talks to each other. So you got a bunch of different chats and different kind of things going on. So from what I understand, that's really kind of hard to follow from a creator standpoint. Yeah, the fan's running in the background. I did have the gate up. It's higher than what I set it when I'm actually doing recording. So, I don't know, the fan's kicked on. They're not PWM fans, so they just run at a constant speed for the most part. So let me see if I can gate that real quick. Is that a little bit better? Looks like the gate's holding up at this level. All right, cool. Yeah, I gotta order some fans. The only problem is now the fans are on my AIO, and I don't really want to disconnect my pump from my processor to do it, because then you gotta clean it and put on new thermal paste and all that. So, but I definitely need new fans. I got to be able to adjust the range on it. Up here where I'm at with the computer, it's like super hot right now. I'm sweating up here. I had to turn off the air conditioner. I got it cool up here before I started running, but there's no real heat, or there's an in-wall unit here for heating and AC. It's kind of a bad setup up here, but I got some soundproofing coming in. I got a better pop filter coming for my microphone, and so hopefully I can get it all set up here pretty quick. Let's see. Still not used to the content browser where you can bring it up in any window you're in. I'm used to having to go out front or out to the main browser. Yeah, it's been crazy over there in the UK for you guys with all heat waves and then just massive, just crazy weather going on everywhere. But yeah, the UK has been insane this year, I heard. Backwards. Record of 40. Yeah, I think I'm not my being American, we're pretty ignorant with world standards, but 40, I think I just looked that up. At 40, that's pushing around 95 Fahrenheit, I think, 98 Fahrenheit. So yeah, we've been lingering around there a lot this summer. We had a couple that was up around 42 Celsius, I think. It's definitely been a warm one. Look up, down. There we go. Much better. 40 is 104. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's about the highs we've been getting, around 40. But it's not a constant, you know. We've been probably lingering about, I don't know, 38 or so over here, but you know, everybody complains about the weather where I'm at, but it's I live in a desert that gets a true 4 seasons a year, so it's the weather patterns here are pretty crazy all year round. Yeah, that's one of the things I heard, is that, you know, on top of the heat, UK is just not used to it. So yeah, no air conditioning, like Crypto was saying. Wish he had it. All right. All right, sorry, just looking at my other project here, see where we're gonna start. So yeah, you know, I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna go in too much here what I'm doing. That's what the tutorials are gonna be for. But ultimately, you know, when you're building something like this with the with an inventory system, you know, you just got to kind of break down its components, and you got to figure out. So, you know, for an inventory system, you got to have items, and you got to have, you know, you got to have a GUI system, but you just got to kind of break it out in its most basic fundamentals, and then just kind of grow from there. Don't get yourself overwhelmed with any one particular part of a system. You know, just build it piece by piece. Components. Let's go ahead and start with... Let's go ahead and start with some items here. So, let's see, Canadian. I also have a very... Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned something about where you were at. Nebuffire, aren't you kind of like on the eastern end? Well, with your time zone, I could tell you're a couple hours ahead of me, so you're on the eastern edge of Canada, aren't you? So that's normally a little bit colder up in that area, I would imagine. Put it to inventory folder, and inside this we'll put the items inside the inventory folder, central, just on top of... Oh, okay. You know, speaking of Canada, my mom and stepfather, they just went to Nova Scotia, went and spent a couple weeks over there. Said it was pretty nice. They wanted to go hit the Prince Charles or St. Charles or whatever, the island up there, but they said they didn't have a chance. But I saw some pictures of it. It looked pretty beautiful over there. Alright, like I showed in the object class video, I'm gonna do this item system using that same system there with the objects. So we'll just go ahead and select that. We'll call this BP underscore base item. Alright, in here, so let's see. What are some of the things we're going to need for items? Let's see. Some of the... Actually, I guess I can probably go look at my original struct. Struct item. Let's see. Item info. No, that's not it. Alright, so every item in the game will need a base mesh, so we'll call it, just call, oops. Let's go ahead and go static mesh. Static mesh, object reference, and then yeah, so these are things that, like I said, every item will have a static mesh. Everyone's going to have like a display name. So a lot of these will be used to relay information about what the particular item is. So when it's in our inventory, when we're looking at it in our inventory, or when we create it in the world, then it can pull information from everything. So, but this is the main class, so we only want to be general with this. We don't want to be specific in this particular class. So let's go. Let's see. Display name, we'll give it, we'll say name. What else? Thumbnail. Make that a texture 2D, because that's what translates the best inside the inside of the widgets. And let's see, item description. Yeah, we could do something maybe like an item description. It'll be like a brief description, so like maybe like make it like a tooltip or something. So let's make it text. What else? One other one that's going to be common for everything here is we're going to do a value. We'll call this stack size. So anybody who's familiar with pretty much any game really that's got an inventory system, you know, some objects you can stack, you can put more in a stack. So that's ultimately what this will be, is just how much can be in a stack inside your inventory. We'll make that an integer. Compile it, and I think for now, nice thing, like I said, nice thing about this system, having the parent-child system, is if we figure out something else that needs to be in all the others, then we can come back here, just put it, and it'll automatically populate to a default to all the other children. Was this process something you normally use before recording the RTA? Yeah, it is. You know, but it really, even before that started, I was doing that kind of on my own. I was doing that on my own, just trying to make me a game and getting familiar and comfortable with Unreal Engine. And I hate that auto save. And just trying to get used to it. And then it just dawned on me. I was like, hey, why don't I? There wasn't many when I was going through trying to find stuff on YouTube to help me learn. There really wasn't that much there. So I just was like, hey, why don't I just go ahead and start making some tutorials? And that RTS really just kind of took off. There's really still not really that many RTS tutorials out there, but so it might be something I go back and revisit a little bit down the road. But yeah, I had a pretty big system when I originally built. Well, pretty much what you guys see in the videos is really as far as I took it. But I've talked about this before. Life circumstances or real life circumstances just kind of took me away from getting any further in it. But I'm back and trying to get back into it. My interests have changed a little bit, so that's why we're doing this now. But yeah, it's always easier for, and plus if I, even though with the RTS I had a bigger project, I refactored it into what I'm doing now, and just kind of making a little bit of a lead project. So it helped me refactor it, but then also by doing that with that project, and then I would turn right around and record the one for video, one for content. It was still fresh in my mind, because I've noticed with these last couple of videos I did, I haven't found my voice yet, as far as, you know, that fluid motion, and hopefully it's not too obvious in my videos. I can tell that, you know, I'm not quite there yet. The video that's going to be out in a couple days, that one, I did that one a little bit differently. That one took me quite a while to produce. I'm trying to do a little bit better on my production with you guys. Right now, this is just, you know, I would like to build a survival game, you know, kind of you know, I've talked. We were talking about it in my Discord last night about it. You know, some of the ideas I have in my head, but you know, I wouldn't mind doing something like Mist or Forest, or, you know, something along those lines. I kind of got a storyline in my head, but really this is what this was originally designed for. But I think the inventory system, I mean, almost every game you do is going to have some sort of inventory system to it. So that's why I figured if I do this one to show you guys a different way to do it. I know there's a few videos out there on inventory. Then I could just get this out, and if, you know, my community decides, if you guys decide that, you know, we want to take this further, then we can design something together and just kind of build the game up together, and I'll just show the videos on it and show you guys how I, you know, what I do to progress it up, and so that's really kind of where I want to go. But if not, you know, a lot of people have bugged me, well, I don't want to say bugged, I didn't mean bugged. A lot of people have asked me in the past to do C++ tutorials, and I didn't really know it back then, and I started messing around with it. Actually, the first inventory system I designed was in C++. So I taught myself actually C++ by designing the system. But I figured, okay, if I'm going to turn back around and record videos for you guys, not many people do C++. I wanted to do it in pure Blueprints. So I redesigned it for Blueprints. And then, but if people decide that they want to come back and do some C++, then this is actually a good project to be able to learn that, because it's really not that, it's not that bad. It's good to have a basic understanding of C++, but actual C++ versus C++ and Unreal are actually two different beasts. Really, all you need to know to do C++ and Unreal is understand the syntax, understand kind of how things are laid out with the header files and the CPP files, and just kind of get the basic grasp of it. One of the things I still struggle with is like pointers, and you know, but I got a big enough grasp of it that I can just kind of push my way through. So in the year or so starting school. Nice. Yeah, I've looked into, I actually work for a university here in my town, and so I get some free classes stuff. As a matter of fact, I start class on Monday. I'm taking some real estate classes, but I've looked into C++ to try to do that. But, you know, honestly, I taught myself how to do Java by I jumped in and started doing Minecraft mods, and so I just kind of dove in and did that, and that's I did a little bit of reading and brush up for C++. I've always kind of been pretty good with syntax and programming basic class. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Once you figure that out, Johnson, though, once you, there will be that moment when it just clicks. You know, my age was, I think, kind of the ideal. I was like right at that edge of when computers were, you know, I was pre Microsoft Windows, but I kind of started learning like Basic, you know, before even Visual Basic, you had Basic. I learned how to program in DOS and do a lot of things that way, you know, true DOS games, and I kind of played around with that and for a while growing up, and then I kind of, you know, being teenage years, I wasn't doing that, so I kind of fell off of it. But I've always kind of had an aptitude for that. But you're gonna have that moment when it just clicks, right? So once it clicks and you get that syntax down, almost all languages are going to be the same. They're all going to have similarities. They're just going to have their own kind of syntax to it, but generally it's all going to be the same. And once you kind of figure that out, it's just, like I said, it's going to be this light bulb moment, and you're going to be like, okay, now I get it. It's still going to have some of its tough parts to it, but you'll be able to push through it, man. Don't worry about that. Java's really not that easy to learn either. So, it was, when I did it was trying to push through, that was before it was too popular to mod Minecraft, where, Mojang still didn't really want you to do it. And it's still difficult to do, with the obfuscation, but now they've got some tools to help you decode their code and deobfuscate it and push it that way. But you still rely on Forge, and Fabric's a lot better now. I haven't tried to code anything in Minecraft or Java for a while, but I kind of got bored with that aspect of it. But when Unreal went from UE3 to UE4 and opened it up, and because I was actually looking at UDK right before UE4 hit and became free. Once it became free, it was just like, okay, I got to do this. Yeah, C++ really just has the most complicated thing with C++ for me is, like I said, I'm still struggling with it at times, is the are the pointers and understanding when to use them. And here I'll type in chat, when you're using an actual addressable pointer versus a direct pointer. You got the asterisk and you got the ampersand there. They're both pointers, but one goes to the physical address of the memory, and the other's the more user-friendly kind of, the actual object instead of the address. But yeah, there's a lot to go into it. But like I said, the C++ for Unreal is really not the same as normal C++. You've got a huge library of code that's already there for you, and when you make the jump, if you decide you want to learn C++ for Unreal, it's really, that's what I'm saying, if we decide to go that way, if my community says, hey, let's take a step back and before we design a game, and let's just go ahead and teach us a little bit of C++, because honestly, even if we progress and start doing a normal game, I'd probably still want to put it in C++. There's this misconception that you have to code in C++ if you want to make a quote-unquote real game. Well, that's not really the case. You don't have to. I've seen a lot of benchmarks that show that, some things are a little bit slower with blueprints, but you can make a pretty good game without ever touching C++. So don't ever feel like you can't make a good game without using C++, because you can. There's some places you have to make compromises in. AI is probably the worst for blueprints. They haven't optimized that yet, but AI is a pretty complex system anyway. So, if you can do AI, which is a lot of mathematical computations, anything that's heavy math is always better in C++. But if you've got a lightweight AI system, you don't need it to be too complicated. You can just, you can trudge through and just do it in blueprints and not even worry about it. But if I were to continue making this into a potential game, then I would want to step back and do a little bit of C++. But, really what you see in blueprints when we come in here, sorry for the blank screen the entire time I was just talking. When you come in here and you see, get control rotation, that's the name of the function in C++. So it's there. There's only a few things that might be different than from here, but if you come in here and you go into your player controller in C++ and you want to do this movement input, then the functions are the same. It's all just right there. So you just take it and you put it in there. And really what I did when I was designing this in C++ originally was I was doing all C++ classes because you can it's easy to hook blueprints with C++, but you can't get C++ from or you can't get blueprints from inside C++. So, you just make all your variables and some base functions inside C++, and you make them visible to blueprints, and then you just go into blueprints and you just throw it all out there, and you could do all your major coding in blueprints and not ever have to worry about it. Yeah, it is a lot easier just to, essentially that's all it is, just translating it from one to the other. But, they're not hidden, they're not different names, and that's the key, I think, with it is it's pretty straightforward at that point. Where was I? Editor. Got rid of that. So yeah, base item. So back to this. So yeah, I think that'll work for now. So now we come out here. And still not used to this content browser or the drawer. Let's see. So now we come over here, create a child blueprint. We'll call this one BP underscore. We'll only make a few items to get go. BP food. That'll be the parent of all the foods. And yeah, we'll just leave it at that. We don't need to make a whole bunch right now. Yeah. One of the things I hate about the C++ integration is even something as simple as like here, if I were to, where's my mouse cursor? If I were to come here and take this BP food and I want to put it into a different folder, that's it. That's all I got to do. I go like this and move it there. And then just in case to make sure, I right-click content browser, come up here, fix up redirectors. And then that's going to take care of anything that originally said, hey, that file was located in this folder system. And that's it. You're good to go. C++, you can't do that. It's not that straightforward. You can move things around, but you have to write your own little script to do the redirectors, and it's just a whole lot easier when you're writing C++ in here to have your folder structure set up like you want it and go that route, because once you set your names in your folder structure, it's just a time consuming and a pain in the butt to change everything. Yeah, it generally does. It's still to be in a good habit, Scott, to be able to, to right click and fix up redirectors. Something like this where I just did this, it's not that big of a deal because I'm not actually using BP food anywhere. But if I have a lot of different references to it and a bunch of different blueprints, it'll make the redirectors for it, which is just a little file hidden in the system somewhere that says, hey, this is where that file used to be, but now it's over here, so go there to do it. And that can actually clog up your game a little bit, so it's always good to clear your redirectors. But yeah, it pretty much does it all for you. You don't have to do it, but it's just good to double check it. Go ahead and show inherited variables. All right, let's go ahead and create this one. This one's just for the food, so we'll just throw a health on here. Float. Actually, let's name this float or health value. It's not the actual health of the item. Health value. How much health does it give you when you eat it or consume it, rather? Yeah. Yeah, anything moderate. I mean, blueprints, you could do it all, but yeah, it definitely slows down quite a bit. That's why AI is really best done, and, something like AI is best done there. But, at the same time, you could do like, you could go into C++ and do all your materials and things inside of C++, but some things are just better for, you could save a lot of draw calls and a lot of overhead if you were to do all your own materials and material instances inside C++, but it's the difference isn't that big of a deal, so it's just so much easier just to go in and do it in the blueprints. But because a lot of materials, there's a lot of math that's based into those as well. But Yeah, when you're running some basic trigonometry and stuff, if you can put that in C++, then yeah, you're definitely going to save some overhead, especially when you start getting into the scale of a really big game. Right. Let's see where we're at now. I guess we can go ahead and create a component now. Shift S, make sure we save everything. Folder maps. Yeah, but pretty much anything in Blueprints looks like a bowl of spaghetti. There's a marketplace content. I think I haven't got it because I think he wants a little too much for what it's worth. But I've seen in other videos and stuff where it's draws straight lines, you know, linear lines to different nodes instead of, you know, the normal spaghetti. So it's a little easier. I think it was called lightning nodes or something like that. But I think he wanted a little too much for what it was, for what you get out of it. But yeah, that's an option, but a little easier to read that way. Yeah, dropping into their own private event graph or separate functions or macros can help out with that too. But either way, spaghetti, you're always going to end up with spaghetti, even if you crunch them down into a separate graph. It's always best if you can just go write a function for math in C++, and then you just got that function in your blueprints. So that's where a lot of that comes from. Runs a little bit faster that way. You just put all the math there, let it calculate in C++, and then just throw the node in the blueprints. Okay, let's go. Inventory. Class. Let's go ahead and create a actor component. We'll do this inventory component. Yeah, that's like sweeping the garbage underneath the rug. Eventually you're going to trip over it though. This up. So yeah, I've broken down my inventory system. A lot of people do it this way. It's nothing new or innovative that I'm doing, but into an inventory component. If you can ever, whenever you're creating some sort of system, try to put it into some form of component, because then you can just, you know, just like with what you guys are going to see in the video in a couple days with the starter template I talk about. You know, if you can just isolate all your major program and you get it before you get too complex with it, you just make a nice basic structure. You take that and you can save it off to the side, because you know, something like this with an inventory system, most games you're going to play have some form of inventory. So if you just do a basic system and then take that basic system, throw it off to the side so you can easily reuse it in a future project, and then whatever, you know, then you just expand it in whatever project you're working in. But whenever you can compartmentalize your code, any of it, you know, that, and save it for later, reusability is going to be the key with anything you do. You know, I start out, one of the things I mentioned in my next video is, you know, it's you know, none of us are, generally speaking, most of us probably aren't going to be working at a game studio at this point, right? So we're going to be starting up, you know, 100 different projects. You know, you start learning something, you go, okay, well, I want to try this and I want to try that. So reusability with your code, whether it's player controllers, game modes, inventory systems, anything like that, you know, if you can reuse that, save yourself the programming headache later, man, do it. All right, inventory. Spaghetti, there it is. What do we got here? Sorry, I'm looking at my other project here to see where I'm at, what I'm going to be doing with this. Okay. So we need to track, well, we got to be able to, inventory component, right? It's going to hold your items for you. So in order to hold the items, I don't want to see inherited variables. So in order to hold the items, we need an array. So we'll call this items, like that. We'll make it of type. We want to do for this, we want to do the grandparent, the big parent of this. So that would be the first one we did. It's BP underscore item something. Oh, I think I named it base item. Base item, there it is. And remember, in the object class, we want to do a class reference, not the object reference on this. So we'll go ahead and select that, and let's go ahead and turn this into an array. Another handy, I'm so used to always just compiling and saving, but if you come up here to the three dots, if you haven't done this or don't know about it, click on this, save on compile. You can do it on success only or always. So every time you come up here and compile your code, it's going to automatically save it for you. So just, you know, I still find myself hitting save every now and then, but that's just, you know, saves you a little bit of headache. That way you make sure your game's going to be saved because you're always compiling your code. So, all right, so items array. We also need to know how big. So with our inventory, we want to make it smart enough to know, you know, like if we're carrying a backpack or something, what's your base capacity of this inventory. So let's just do this. We'll go capacity, and we'll change it to an integer here and not an array, just a single. Success. Yeah, I do all the time. I'm constantly pushing Control Shift S. You know, it took me a little bit to get used to that with Unreal, because for so long it was just Control S, and then they changed it to be like Maya, where you got to Control Shift S, and so it took me a while to get used to it. But it's just, you know, between this and Blender, you know, in the next video you guys are going to see, I ended up having a ton of crashes on that, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. So I actually had to restart that project a couple times, and you know, I was getting ahead of myself and not saving when I should have, and it was kind of a headache, but I got it all lined out. All right, so capacity. So this will set default capacity. We'll say, yeah, for now, for testing, we'll say like 10. But you know, later down the road, if like you have a backpack or something that you can pick up, then you know, you can change this value dynamically in the game to reflect the extra storage capacity. But this would be like the base without anything. And the nice thing about this too, with this system, the way I'm going to set this up is once you get it in, you can just drag it to another object that needs an inventory system, and it's just going to work. You know, there might be one or two things you've got to do special for that specific need, but the system itself should just work. So we'll do base 10, and then also what we will do here, I'm going to duplicate this, the items. We're going to call this start items. So what this one would be for is like if we took this inventory component and we threw it like on a locker or something, whatever, a storage chest in the world. If this was on there, you wanted to give that a default of starting items, then you can use this and just put those items in there. So you can even program it to give like random items and things like that. But that's what this would be, is to be able to start the game with that. Let's see, so begin play. So we want to resize. Let's go ahead and resize the size of this array to be the size of the capacity. How long have we been up already? It says I only started the stream 6 minutes ago. Anybody know how? I don't know what time it is. 2:30. I guess we've been close to about an hour now, huh? Alright. $73 minutes. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Alright, so let's do a for each loop. So now, since we've got the default items, I want to come in here, or the start items, take this one, and we want to go through, if we put anything here to start with, we want to be able to actually take this and put this in the inventory now. So let's see what else. I'm actually not going to move up on that yet. I think there's some other things best set up first. Let's see. Array items we're getting here. So we want to take this and we want to store this into the array. But we got to make sure that this, so maybe we need to resize this one first. I don't know why I didn't do that on my other project. Yeah, we need to, oh, we can't resize it. We resize it, and I think we lose everything. Let me go like this. I won't be able to tell that way. I think the reason why I didn't resize this, what I do here, sorry, I'm looking off screen here. I didn't really have a system for that. You know what? We are still going to use a struct system. I'm going to delete this, the item array. We're still going to end up needing a struct here because one of the things because we can't change anything dynamically on these classes, not unless we make instances of them and spawn them into the world. So we need to, let's see, inventory. I think in here is fine. Let's see, blueprints. Let's go ahead and do structure. I'm just trying to think of where I want to put this. Right, organization. If you stay ahead of your organization, it's going to make things a whole lot easier down the road. But let's call this one. Call this inventory, actually F underscore inventory. Structs in C++ are of type F, so that's when if you're following naming convention, inventory. If you're following naming conventions, then F is what they give structs. Inventory item. Okay, and the struct will be, call this one item itself, and it will be of BP underscore base item class, and we will not make that an array. We'll add a new one, and we'll call this quantity. This is how many of the item we currently have. So change this one to integer single type. I think that's it for right now. We got to have these two items. So now in our inventory component, what we will actually do is, instead of the items being this base class, we will actually make it of the struct. So F underscore, I just named that. What did I call it? Inventory item. Inventory item. Actually do nothing. Let me delete that real fast. Yeah. That will change this though to F underscore inventory item. There we go. Now we don't get that warning, so now we'll plug that in here and we'll resize this struct. So yeah, so now this struct holds, so if we were to make an item here, the first index is, we can come in here, we could choose the item in here, or when more accurately for this particular one, this would be dynamically done, but it would choose, okay, you've got this item in here and you've got, you know, this many quantity in your inventory system. So we'll work out the bugs on that a little bit, but we can come back out here and actually let's set the default value. That's weird. I'm still getting used to UE5, but that's weird. It used to be just a separate, I wonder if, yeah. Alright. Default value, at least one, right? You've got... Do we want it? Actually... No, we don't. It's got to be default of 0. Compare. Alright, yeah, actually it's got to be a value of 0, default of 0. Because we're going to actually populate this. You'll see. I wonder if I could probably give you guys a sneak peek at kind of what this looks like. Let me start up this other project. You guys want to see kind of my original project? You want to see what the UI kind of looks like and get an idea of what this is going to end up being like? It's going to be a little bit different, but if you guys want a sneak peek on it, I can kind of run it. I think the stream's probably going to be coming to an end pretty quick, but I can give you guys a sneak peek if you want to see. Let me see here. And let me see here. Alright, let me see here. Alright, so, oh man, I don't have any of the assets in here. I'm trying to give you guys a sneak peek, and I don't think this is going to work. Let me see. Something seems off about this one. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Let's take a look. Pretty sure that was it, the inventory design. I must not have transferred. Oh, I don't have all the assets, but it's still... yeah, shoot. I might not be able to. I set up, it's got a, we're gonna have a drag and drop system with this. I can't see chat right now, but the system, this is just kind of basic. I don't know why I can't. You know what, this seems a little bit behind. I think I've got, I think I transferred this over before I set some things up, so I might have, because I sometimes work on my work computer, but that computer's not good enough to do UE5, so I can't really work on anything at work during my breaks and stuff. So anyways, I'll see if I can't find it. I'll give you guys a sneak peek in another live stream or something. Because we got a ways to go before it looks all nice, but that's kind of how it's going to end up looking. That's weird. I didn't think I did that much more with it. Let me see. Let me see if I can find. Oh, I don't even have it. Man, this new computer. I don't have everything on this new computer yet. So that kind of stinks. Sorry about that, guys. I promised you guys a look, but a sneak peek, but we can't get it. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of how it's going to look. I've got items in the world, but I've got a full drag and drop system. You could take and move it, and I've got a hotbar item down here because that's what's telling me this is an older version of what I had set up. So I had little icons here, water bottle and little bread decals here, but a full drag and drop system. You could take it, move it around, switch it between your hotbar inventory system here. So, you know, and then objects in the world, you have some objects in the world. I got an outline, a custom depth render, so every time you look at an item, it lights it up, it outlines it so you can see what you're looking at, and you get a little pop-up text and stuff. I'll see if I can't find that, and maybe it might even be in my Dropbox. But I'll see if I can't find that, and as I'm doing this, if you guys want, I can just do some live streams while I'm doing this, and then probably won't be able to do a bunch of live streams with it because I really didn't accomplish much today, and I need to start getting these set up for videos. So, but yeah, the concept, yeah, it's there. It kind of get an idea. It's not as sneak peeky as I thought it was going to end up being, showing you guys that, but I guess I didn't really run the project since I put it on my computer, so I didn't know which version it was. So, my bad. I wouldn't have offered if I knew it was that unfinished. But it's generally going to be like that, so you've got all these just little windows inside of boxes, and, the UI is not real pretty, but it's functional. There's whole fields of people who are UX experts, so that's something that's personal for every single game. Alright, but I think I've been up here long enough, so we're probably pushing 90 minutes now. So anyways, thanks guys for coming in. So real quick, everything sounds alright. I had to obviously turn the gate up on my microphone, so but other than that, and other than hearing the fans in my computer blow and while I'm talking, does everything else seem alright? The music's not real loud, it's there but not overpowering or anything like that. My microphone, I'm not talking too loud, nothing like that. Any tips to help me improve? So it all just kind of blends together then, yeah. Yeah, I ordered some foam panels for my wall to help with a little bit of the reverb, and my system's a little close. Like I said, I got to get better fans, but I also bought a different style filter for my microphone, so hopefully it should help block some of that out. Right now I've just got a plain screen filter that goes over my microphone just to help with popping, but it doesn't actually absorb any ambient noise. So hopefully all that should be here tomorrow. So this weekend I'll try to get some of that set up, and that way I can get a little bit better audio, because that was one thing I wasn't too happy with the last couple videos that I've got out, is just the way the audio sounds on it. So I'll work out the kinks, and hopefully get it back to a little bit more professional sounding. Cool. Well, so thanks. There's a couple names in here. I've recognized a couple of your names from my comments and stuff like that. If you haven't seen, I got a Discord. You don't have to support me or nothing to come join the Discord. If you're in Discord, come hang out with us, man. Last night we spent a decent amount of time. Nubifier and I think Crypto might have gotten in on it. There was a few of us in there that we just started bouncing a bunch of different game ideas off of each other, and we're all in there to help support each other. There's a couple people that are offering, that are doing like Blender, that are offering to help out with some meshes and stuff just to practice for your projects and stuff. And so just, come hang out if you want to. Like I said, you don't have to, give me any support to come join the Discord. It's down in the description. The links are. So if you want, just join and you're there, man. So, we can come hang out and talk and just, bounce ideas off each other. Yeah, with like data tables and stuff too. You're probably a spreadsheets kind of guy, huh, Scott? So like your data tables and stuff, you probably don't have to worry about laying that out inside the engine. You'll go and write it all out in Excel and send it all that way. I'm fairly analytical too. I'm not quite that anal with parsing all my strings in Notepad, but it's definitely a little bit easier sometimes to see it like that. I'm a pretty literal kind of guy. Well, the way you guys have me here, I just made up my own format parser white space. There you go. Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's the nice thing about understanding a little bit of coding and scripting and things like that, is you're able to do stuff like that. That's one thing I've never really done myself, is make my own little handy macros and scripts for just doing odd repetitive computer tasks and things like that. So I don't know why I've never bothered to do that. All right, well, real quick, if you guys got any final questions while you have me on the phone, and help you out with anything you might have, or answer any questions you got about the channel or your own projects, or like I said, you can always come over to the Discord and continue the conversation there. It's a little bit easier to sit down on the phone or computer and do that than answer a few questions there, but I'm available. So even when I wasn't making videos, I tried to support you guys in the comments, and I watched a lot of that. I appreciate everybody, those that are here in the stream and the ones that are going to watch us down the road. I appreciate everybody for supporting me, through the years, even though I wasn't making videos. I try to turn it back to the community and help you guys out. And so, closest thing that I've done to a macro is using auto clicker, Unreal, and unresponsive Unreal. Yeah. My new computer seems to be doing a little bit better. When real quick while I got you, when I was my RTS series, the computer I had, it would take literally double the time to render the video into the format before sending it to YouTube. So if I had a 30-minute video, it took an hour to render it. Whereas now, the video I just rendered last night and published, it took me, it's a 22-minute long video. It took me 3 minutes to render it. So yeah, my new computer is pretty good rendering all the shaders and stuff here in Unreal. It's kind of zipped through it pretty good. want to start doing, maybe do some live streams of doing some Blender too, just making some assets for the game and things like that. And yeah, PC. Oh yeah, it still does. Control Shift S. That is your friend, just like in Blender. Blender is a really good program, and they've been getting a lot of money lately, but it still crashes. Basic types rather than structs. Yeah, structs are definitely handy though. You know, they can get, if I'll show you this real quick. Where is it? You know, and this is why I'm going to the new system. This is, you know, structs can really kind of get crazy, you know, and even still you've got this struct here, and then, you know, this struct is, so let me see, where is it? Then it's, you use the struct and you throw it in a data table, right? So then you've got to populate all the information for all of it, and that's where, you know, like I was mentioning with you being, you're probably the kind of guy who uses a spreadsheet. You start getting into these, you've got to organize it all in a spreadsheet. But that's why I kind of wanted to stay clear of this when I did my videos for this inventory system. It's just structs can just get super just insane and just really hard to keep track of when it comes time to do game balancing and stuff. It's just, you know, I mean, any system you do that's going to be big is going to be more difficult, but, you know, structs, you're just constantly adding stuff, you know, because you don't know everything you're going to need for your game. So, but yeah, they definitely they've got their place, but to get something like this, it's faster to run a struct than it is to do all the object classes and stuff, but it's still, you know, I'll take the little bit of performance hit running objects than nightmare working with the structs. But they still got their place. I'll still, like, you know, we're going to put the struct here in this. We've got the struct here for this, you know, but it's real simple. It's just, it's got the item for the inventory and then a quantity amount of that item. So only two figures you got to work with. But yeah, I've had a lot of bad luck in the RTS series. I was using structs, but part of it was user error, the way I was working with the struct. But you know, they still have issues. You know, really, Unreal needs a better multi-dimensional array. You know, structs is their answer to a multi-dimensional array, but it's not really functional for that. I mean, you can have arrays inside of your struct, but that's just insane if you're going to do that. Alright guys, well, thanks. I appreciate you coming in. And again, I appreciate all the support you guys have given me over the time. Come check me out and the rest of us out in Discord and hang out and say hi and bounce some ideas off of us. I'm there, and even if you're only in there to ask me a question, you know, for whatever you've got on the videos or whatever, I'm there. So, alright. Appreciate you guys. Later.